What's up, Ragin Nation? This is Alex Yoon. You're watching the Ragin Ronin review. In this video, I will be reviewing Premium Rush. Premium Rush is starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a protagonist, Michael Shannon as the antagonist, and Jamie Chung as a supporting role. And when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I felt like this is cool because we've never seen anything like this on a big screen. Well, at least I've never even seen like a bicycle movie. This is not a bicycle movie. This is a movie that revolves around the culture of bike messengers in New York. And I say that specifically because I'm sure that bike messengers in New York is a lot more intense than bike messengers than, say, for example, in Vancouver right here. It's a culture that we don't know very much about because we've never seen something like this presented on the big screen. So there have probably been movies that involve bike stunts and movies that have bicycle chases in them, but never a movie like this. So it's a new concept that has been introduced to us and I had to check it out. Now, with regards to the story, they just needed to wrap a story, like an action premise, around the culture of bike messengers. And what do bike messengers do? They deliver stuff. Now, this kind of brings us back to the familiar territory of, say, for example, The Transporter. And if you've seen the Transporter movie, then the story of Premium Rush is actually very similar to The Transporter. Just take out the kung fu and the car chases and replace that with really cool bicycle stunts. And replace Jason Statham with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And also in the Transporter movie, the very first one, Frank Martin is delivering a package, and the package is very important because what happens later on in the movie is revealed to be something bigger. Well, in Premium Rush, that's something that Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character has to deliver leads to something bigger that is revealed later on in the movie. And let's just say that the package that is being delivered and that bigger picture is actually very similar to that of the Transporter. Now, I'm not trying to say that it's not an original story, it's just very similar to that of the Transporter. So the story is not really anything that's really groundbreaking, but what's original is what they did with that story. And that is have the story as the foundation for some really cool bicycle stunts. And that is what we get in this movie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt has been awesome in a lot of movies that I've seen him in. Inception, 500 Days of Summer, The Dark Knight Rises. Now, this isn't much of a stretch for him. I still like them in this movie though. The star of the movie really isn't Joseph Gordon-Levitt. The star is the bike stunts, because that's what we're really paying a movie ticket for to watch. And let me tell you something, the bike stunts are so cool. In fact, I really think that the director is the star of the movie and the director of photography because they really captured some really amazing bicycle stunts on camera, and they put the audience right in the middle of all that traffic. And it's really cool because I've never seen bicycle stunts captured in that way. It's really intense the way it was filmed. We have shots of the bicycle in the first person view where they mount a camera onto a bicycle. We also have the bicycle going onto oncoming traffic, and that's when you're just like, holy crap, he's gonna crash any moment. And all kinds of cool stuff. We have car versus bicycle. We have bicycle chase. We have bicycle race. And we also have bike trials. If you don't know what bike trials are, that's when a bike jumps onto one surface and onto another surface, and basically you're just traveling around on your bike but just hopping around on one wheel, and it's just something that we've never really seen in a movie. So when you think the bulk of the action is just about a bike messenger just riding around and like high speeds in and out of traffic, well, it's actually a lot more than that. Let me tell you something, the car chase sequence where Michael Shannon is chasing after Joseph Gordon-Levitt on a car versus a bike, that was probably one of the best chase sequences in the movie. And it's really intense because you would think that a car doing battle with a bike is actually no contest. But with the direction, the stunt work, and just the high energy of that chase sequence, it just makes it so exciting. Now, like I said before, the story isn't really anything groundbreaking, but what really makes the movie exciting is, of course, the chase sequences. Unfortunately, it isn't without some flaws, and let me tell you what I didn't really like about the movie. It's not that I didn't really like about it, I didn't think it was that great. And what had happened was that in the middle of the movie, there was a bicycle on bicycle chase. In fact, it wasn't even really a chase, it was more of a race. And while at the beginning it seemed intense, it just kind of went on for a little bit too long, where Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character was chasing another bike messenger through Central Park in New York, and it just went on for a really long time. And with the first chase sequence being a car versus a bike, you would think that it would get progressively more exciting and dangerous. Well, at the end of the day, it's still a bike versus bike chase. And the only thing you can really do is ride faster than the other guy. And that, in my opinion, is not that exciting. And it went on for a little bit too long, to the point where you just see two guys just riding a bike. So I felt that that could have been a little more exciting. It kind of affected the pacing of the movie because it was going pretty exciting, but then it kind of slowed down in the middle. And then it picks up a little bit more after that. But you know, that's just a little thing. I can't say this movie was like totally awesome. It was good, it was entertaining, but after a while of bike chases, you just feel like it was cool at the beginning, but they have to really do a little bit more stuff to make it more exciting. Now, the way the story was told, it was actually pretty interesting. I like the direction of the movie. It was told in a very linear format, but then it goes onto a flashback format to tell the story from another perspective. And that's really interesting to me because you learn about the backstory of all the different characters. And there was some really cool visual effects shots where the camera just goes out of the city and onto like almost like GPS mode, and it shows like all these technical stats, like here's the amount of time it'll take to get from one location to another, and then it shows different routes, and it kind of played out like a video game. But I like that about the movie. It's very dynamic and it's very fun for the audience to watch these types of scenarios. But at the end of the day, this is your just above average action flick. Now, it doesn't really have a car chase, it doesn't really have any hand-to-hand fighting, it doesn't have any gunfire or gun battles, but I'm kind of glad that we're seeing something fresh and new. And I give this movie a 7 out of 10. Some of the pacing was a little bit off. The story isn't anything that's too groundbreaking, and the characters weren't anything really special. I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, but there was nothing really that dynamic about him. Michael Shannon as the antagonist, he kind of played out like a cartoon character. He's very animated, and it made him kind of fun to watch. But other than that, it's a popcorn movie, and I think that if you're looking for something fresh and new, you will be pretty entertained. 7 out of 10. So this concludes my summer blockbuster movie season reviews. Stay tuned for my top 10 summer movies list. You're gonna wanna check that out because I'm gonna give you the lowdown on what my favorite movie was this summer. My name is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. It's some great characters, and these are really extraordinary characters. And I like that Simon West decided to showcase all the different aspects of each